Let's see here. Let me get that right. Yeah, it's got it. There we go. Hey guys, for today's car talk, I want to talk about remote work, and more specifically, how to get remote work. Remote work is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. If you can tell from my Twitter feed on a few occasions, where I really feel like a lot of companies still aren't embracing remote work as what they should. But anyway, I digress on that point. No one hear me go on a rant about that. But today's car talk is going to be about how to find remote work. I've been working remotely for 100% remotely for about 3 years now, and it was mostly remote for the past 5 or so before that. There are a few ways that you can find remote work. There are a lot of different websites. So as far as just websites are concerned, you can go out to sites like flexjobs.us, I believe, is one. WeWorkRemotely.com is another one. And there's also a site like Upwork.com. If you're familiar with what once was Elance and Odesk. Those sites, a lot of those are remote, but a lot of those aren't full-time jobs, though. They're mostly just contract jobs. You'll be able to see that you can find remote jobs via contract work much easier than you can find full-time jobs. So if you're looking for contract work, remote work is a lot easier to find. But full-time jobs are still out there, remote. Other than the few sites, so we got Upwork for contract jobs, some full-time jobs, We Work Remotely, Flex Jobs, and really if you can Google telecommuting jobs or remote jobs or something like that, there's a few other major ones out there that I can't put my finger on quite yet, but those are the websites. However, there's another way. There's a few different other ways you can look for remote jobs. So whenever you're looking for a full-time job, let's say you're looking for a full-time job, a good way to see that is to look at, if you're looking for a specific company or a specific job title or something like that, go to sites like, Career Builder, Monster, or any of these big job boards. Indeed is another really good one. That Indeed has filters to filter out remote jobs and telecommuting jobs only. But if you find one of these jobs that is a similar position to what you're looking for at a company, and see if other positions are remote, not just the position that you were looking for. Maybe similar positions in IT or something like that are remote. If they are, then even if the job posting doesn't show remote, there's sometimes where the job scrapers don't show remote, even though they will consider remote for the right candidate. In that case, you can get kind of a feel for the work culture of the company if you see a lot of other people working remotely. And also, whenever I was on the hunt for a remote job a while back, I would actually go out and see a job posting at a company that looked perfect, but it didn't have anything about remote work or anything like that. A lot of the sites don't tell you. They'll tell you a location, but that's the location of the office. Unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be on-site only, but there's a few different ways you can get in there. For example, one way that I've done is I will contact somebody on Twitter, find out, if I can, do some Googling around and find out who is in a similar position at that company, and just reach out to them on Twitter and say, hey, does your company do remote work? How is the culture there? Did they allow remote work and all that? You can kind of get a feel before you even reach out for the position at all. You can kind of get a feel for how the company treats remote work, and even if they do allow remote work, sometimes the company will just completely ignore you. You're not going to get any good experience, not any room for promotion. You just kind of forgot about. So that's some of the cultures out there, unfortunately. But reach out to that. Another one is now this one doesn't come into play as much whenever you're a junior admin or in a junior position. A lot of the remote companies, since companies have to really have a whole lot of trust in you, you'll find that junior and maybe intermediate positions are very hard to find remote. But if you're more in a senior position, you're you're more trusted at that point. You're seasoned. You know what you're getting into, and you know what you're doing for the most part. Not all of us know what we're doing for the most part, but so you're trusted more. So it's going to be a lot easier for you to kind of pitch that remote only position, or maybe going into the office every now and then. Another reason, when this is only for senior people, what I found is if you are, if you have a lot of experience and it shows, that's another big thing I constantly try to preach: show what you know in public. If you have a really decorated LinkedIn profile of, I contributed to this project, I started this project, I did this project, here is this software that I built, here's all this community effort, here's these conferences that I attended, that I presented at, here's the user groups that I presented at. You kind of position yourself as an authority in that sort of space, and if you're public about it, sometimes you'll find that other people inside of the company, even the hiring manager, may have already heard of you through your work on the internet. If you really focus on getting your work shown in public, in your blog, here on YouTube, really just getting your out there. When somebody Google's a problem that you're running across, maybe you come across your name and maybe have heard about you. That's another really good way. If you can have some kind of warm contact ahead of time, like, oh, I've heard of, Adam Bertram, he's the guy that did that thing, or something like that. Or even if they haven't heard of you, they look through your Twitter or your LinkedIn or your GitHub or whatever have you, and see, like, wow, he has got a lot. It looks like he is really focused on not only learning but teaching as well. Teaching is a big plus to companies as well. So really, that's kind of the few ones that I do. I like to focus more on not necessarily the websites. It's more about relationships. It's more about developing relationships, getting yourself known out there. If you know a lot, and I'm sure you do, if you're a senior guy, you know a lot that some people don't know. Do the blog, do the YouTube, do Twitter, help people, conferences, all of that sort of thing is really, really important for your career. And if once you do that, then you have a solid foundation to build from. You have reputation. You have some kind of authority that you can fall back on and say, look, I'm not just Joe Schmo off the street saying, please give me a job. I am Joe Schmo, Mr. Extraordinaire. Hype yourself up all you want. I did all this stuff. I'm an authority in this. I do these conference talks. I do these user group things, and just getting involved. Don't just, getting involved. It really is the cherry on top of somebody that has the same skill set, rather than somebody that has that same skill set and then focuses that skill set on teaching and sharing knowledge with others. That means a lot to a lot of different employers. And really, once you do that, working remotely, even anything in general, is getting promotions, getting recruiters to give you the great jobs, all these different opportunities. Those will come a lot easier. So I always preach relationships over just your one-off website stuff. But to summarize, websites: Upwork for contract jobs, some full-time jobs. We work remotely, FlexJobs, and Indeed.com. Those are the sites that you can go to find remote work. And then, more importantly, getting involved with the community, getting involved with doing blogging, doing open source projects, doing conferences, user groups, articles, all that sort of stuff. Getting known, and once you get known, then you have more of an opportunity and more of a rap sheet to go through and say, look, I've got all these things, and here's, even though the position isn't remote yet, then sometimes they will allow it. And then finally, getting in touch with people in the same company that are in a similar position, asking them if they work remote, how's their remote culture, and that sort of thing. So As always, just subscribe to me, subscribe to the blog, or the blog at adamtheautomator.com. You can subscribe here to the YouTube channel, and feel free to like the video if you want. I really like doing these car talk informal videos, so if you like them, just like and subscribe and all that stuff. Till then, see you later.